Hi, my name's Kate. I am a high school math teacher at the beginning of my 19th year of teaching. Today, I thought that I would take you guys along for just a typical Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, October 28th. It is actually after a nice long 4-day weekend for fall break. So feeling very rested, very, relaxed, really enjoyed my time off. But yeah, so just the week of Halloween, and I just thought that I would take you guys along today just to kind of share with you what a typical day looks like for myself. My first class today is Precalculus, and in that today we are looking at reviewing inverse functions. So I've got a hole punch activity that I'm going to do with my students. I believe it's from Scaffolded Math and Science, but I will leave a link in the description below with this activity, so if it's something that you're interested in, you guys can grab it. So we start out with the students pick some points, and then they get a blank. I've got a bunch of different graphs here, but they get a blank grid. One of these is blank. And they plot those points, then they fold it on that y equals x line, they hole punch, and then they can look at what those inverse functions are to see what do they notice as that pattern. And then we do the same with a couple of different graphs. So we have a quadratic graph. We actually have two different quadratic graphs. We have linear, and I know that there is a square root graph as well, but just because of time, and this isn't necessarily, like, I'm not teaching this, this is more of a review, but I like this just for them to visually see those relationships between the function and its inverse function. So we're gonna do that activity. The only issue is that I only have 4 of these right now, and I got 8 teams in my classes. So I gotta figure out, see if I can scrunch up a couple more this morning. We used to have in our math science office a bag of like 15, and when I went in there were 2. So yeah, so we'll figure that out. So anyway, after that, actually even before that, the kids are gonna start with a warm-up. So they're gonna, the directions are absolutely not correct with this, which is fine. I don't read the directions anyway. So they're gonna find the difference quotient here, and then they're gonna just analyze this function. And then we're gonna do a hole punch activity, and then afterwards, the kids for their classwork, we've just got some just basic notes, just talking about some things, looking at it in terms of a graph, does it have a function, looking at it in terms of an equation, does it have a function, and then practice finding the function or the inverse functions of equations, and doing it again with the equation and the graph, just to look at that relationship. So I've got pre-calc first hour, so we're doing all of that, and then I also have pre-calc second hour, so I'm doing that for both my first and second blocks today. And then my third block today, I have quantitative reasoning. With my quantitative reasoning class, we have been investigating inflation and talking about that. So today we're going to jump into Google Sheets so they can see a little bit about how Google Sheets or Excel can help with different math calculations. So I've found over the last couple of years that students really have never used Google Sheets and don't know how it works. So we're gonna spend some time. I've got just a list of here are the basic things that I wanna have my students learn right away. So we're gonna do that first, and then the kids are going to get this table that they build out, and then we're just comparing the price today, so like what they think the price of a pound of uncooked white rice is, and then the actual price, and they're using a website to figure this out. And then they're going to do the same for the price in 1980, and then they're going to figure out the 2000 value, and then they're going to use the 2000 value as the reference and find the income or the index value of each one of those, and then find that rate of inflation from 1980 to 2025 for each of those items. But the thing is, rather than having to use, calculator and hand doing all that, we're going to talk about how they can use Excel to build those formulas. So that's the plan in quantitative reasoning today. And then my last block today, I have my plan period, which is really nice. I have enjoyed having my plan period. Fourth block, typically I'm in my classroom for that, which is nice, and I feel like I get a lot done. So it is about 7:35, and I have office hours starting in 10 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and get a few things done and see if any students show up for office hours. At the start of each class, I put these slides up for students so that they can do all of the things that I need them to do before class starts or as class starts. So I always list the do nows, so turning in homework and doing the warm-up today. A lot of times if there are different supplies that the kids need, I'll list those as well. And then upcoming, just when their upcoming test or quiz is, and then the topic that we're teaching today. That way I don't have to constantly ask, what are we doing today? And then I have a meme of the day. And so here is my meme, and I've been having fun this year making the slides themed for the month. So some of our teachers came in clutch. I was able to find 4 more hole punches, so I have all that I need for this activity today. Thank goodness. My little classroom goose is ready for Halloween with their super cute Halloween costume. I will leave a link for this class goose in the description if this is something you guys are interested in getting for your classroom as well. It's been a lot of fun. 2.2, negative 2.3, how do we list that as a point?
0.
Good. 0, comma, negative 2 point, whatever your decimal is that you're using. All right, last thing that we're looking at is our maximums and minimums. Local maximums, where are we looking on our graph to find our local maximums? The top. Maximums are never infinity. They are points. Points can never be infinity. So where is one of our maximums at? Negative 3, 2. So this point right up here. And what is our other minimum? 4, negative 1. Good. So we're going to start by drawing a horizontal line. And then we're just looking to see what? What do you think? Yeah, does it go through once or twice? Now down here it only goes through once. Does that mean it has an inverse? No, because someplace else along my graph I can draw, and here it goes through multiple times, so we can tell that this does what? Does it have an inverse? No, so it does not have an inverse. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go over the answers to the homework. As a reminder, the only people that are writing down the answers are those of you guys that did and turned in the homework. If you did not do or turn in the homework for whatever reason, you should not be writing the answers down. I am going to ask that you guys please close, bless you, your Chromebooks right now, as we are not going to use them for the moment. Okay, number 1. The CPI is 237.017, and that just means that the $100 basket of goods and services, right, this random stuff, in 1983 has now increased to $237.017 into 2015 dollars. Number 2, it's going to be $88,077.21, 88,077.21. Number 3 is $173,163.69. That's 173,163.69. So we're going to do an activity today that will carry over to be your homework for whatever you don't finish, but we're going to talk about how we can use Excel to help us calculate some of these things. So I know Excel is not necessarily something that you guys are as familiar with. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go through some of the basics of, okay, this is how we use Excel. So we're going to start with the very basics. And I know some of you are like, I don't even know how to do this stuff. Still want to make sure you pay attention so that you get all the little things that maybe you forgot about or you didn't know. Okay, and then we're going to talk about a little bit more advanced how we're going to type in formulas, how we can use Excel to help us so that we're not having to keep doing things like this. If we say, oh, well, now I want to know if the price was $135,000, how would this change? I don't want to have to recalculate all of that. Excel, I could just change this number and then my answer will automatically change for me. Okay, so now when we're ready to fill these, we are going to select and drag down. So we highlight the 4 numbers, and if we want to fill, we're going to find this circle right here, and we are going to drag that down. So if we're trying to get to 30, so drag that down and notice that it's filled. So we've got it filled up to 13, and we can keep dragging until we get that to 30. So this is a nice way so we don't have to type all those numbers. Now if we're trying to reference a cell, so let's say I want to take this 14 and I want to do something with it. So over here, let's say E5. We're going to click equals. Now, instead of typing in 14, because I don't want to have to do that because maybe I want to change this number. So to reference this cell, I can either type C4 or I can click on that cell, C4. And now let's say I want to multiply that by, let's say 3.75. And I can hit enter. So now I've got 5250. Well, let's say, oh shoot, that wasn't actually 14, it was 1395. So I can come in and type 1395 here and fix this, and then what should happen over here? It should also change. So now it's changed. So that is one nice thing about Excel. We can just fix one number and it will fix all of our calculations. All right, so it is lunchtime. I am getting blinds open. I love to open the blinds after or during lunch because the sun has finally moved enough so that it's not in students' eyes and it just lets a little bit of natural light in the classroom, which I love. So I'm on my lunch break now. I finished both my pre-calc classes 30 minutes into my quantitative reasoning class, so now I have lunch. So I brought a salad today, so I've got this great bento container in the lid. It's got a fork, and then there is, oh, it's a hot mess in here today, but I've got a tray for all of my toppings and then the salad underneath. There is a salad little box that goes here for your salad dressing that would keep this stuff from, you know, moving around as much as it does, but that's not enough dressing for me, so I just bring a bottle of dressing. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and eat, relax for a little bit, and then finish my QR class, and then I'll check in with you guys. Okay, so I have made it to my plan period. The last part, that last hour of my quantitative reasoning was extremely frustrating. So let me pull up and show you guys what I was showing the kids and talking to the kids about. So this is the Google Sheet that they're working on, and we talked about everything that I have highlighted in the purple boxes are things that they're just typing in the numbers themselves. Everything in those blue boxes, they should have formulas for. And we even talked about, okay, so when we're using the 2000s value as the reference value, find the index for each item for 1980 and 2025. So we talked about an example, and we did that right over here with just random made up numbers. And then we talked where the C7 is and the D9. Initially I had numbers there, and then we talked, okay, these numbers are actually coming from our table, let's use those. So I showed kind of how to do this, not using the real numbers. Well, then the kids just sat there the entire time because they, first of all, didn't want to ask for help, and second of all, they couldn't apply what we did right over there with the fake numbers with the real numbers that were right here. So it was a little frustrating. I did, you know, reiterate kind of everything at the end of class, and I was like, hey, make sure you guys work on these. And I had a kid stop me, and he's like, okay, so I'm gonna have the 1980, the 2005, and the 2025, and the 2000 numbers all in one proportion. I'm like, no, like that's not how we did this when we made the tables by hand. We're doing the exact same work. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I feel like we may have to go over some of this next class with the kids so that they understand this. And this makes me nervous because I'm going to be out in a week and I'm leaving them another Google Sheets activity to do. And I feel like they should be able to do these things. But some of the kids couldn't even figure out how to enter numbers. And I was like, that is what we went over before lunch. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But this group of kids is just, right now we're really struggling. They definitely don't want to be here. It's an elective class. They do not have to take this for any reason. It's not a requirement for graduation. They possibly need it if they're trying to get their associate's degree out of high school. That's the only reason why they need it, but that's not a requirement to graduate. And yeah, they're just really struggling. I think that they thought that this class was just gonna be a come in, sit, sleep, and you get your A type of class, and that's not how it is. You know, making them really think, making them do work, and not just like plug and chug. You know, they gotta think. So anyway, all right, well, I have a big list. Hold on a second. Okay, that's better. I don't know why holding the camera, should have just put you on the tripod. Okay, so I have this huge Callie Danielle pad here that I use to make my to-do list for each day. Yep, started making it thinking today was Monday. So I've got my big list of things that I need to do today, and I've got, you know, just less than an hour and a half to get those things done. And we just got an email during lunch that we have a training tomorrow, and The training is either in the morning at 7:30 or in the afternoon at 3:25. I can't stay tomorrow afternoon, which means that I need to be here. Now I'm usually here at 7:30, but I've got to be here and ready to go before 7:30 so that I am good to go. So I got a lot to do. So I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna be productive, and I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, I'm looking for some help here, guys. I am struggling anytime I am trying to use my computer, my mouse, it disappears. So if you notice off here, it's white. It'll eventually, if I get frustrated enough and click enough, but I can't ever find my mouse when I am trying to edit documents. We've gone into settings, we've changed all sorts of things. So if any of you guys know how to fix this, please let me know, because having a white cursor on this document is just absolutely driving me insane. It's been like this since I got this laptop at the start of last year, and it's just not working. So please help me out. I realized that I didn't have a review for the chapter 2 last year. I just gave the students a list of topics that they had to study, and I decided I'm just gonna make a review for them, so I had to make that real quick. Thankfully, I had a review for my college algebra kids, which is they do chapter 2, but they spend half a semester really looking at chapter 2, and we split it up into 2 parts. So I took their reviews, put them together, added some questions, beefed up a few, took out some of the basic things, made a review, 5 pages. It's fine, but they're gonna work on that, so I'm gonna run to the math office and I'm gonna make copies of those real quick. I didn't quite get enough of these graphs done for the inverse function project, so I've got to make a couple extra copies of those, and then I made new seating charts for my college algebra classes, so I got to pick those up too. So heading to the math office, getting copies. Well, that's it. My day is over. I hope you guys enjoyed this day in my life. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in following along more with my journey as I teach, please subscribe. I do upload videos every Friday, but you can hit that notification bell to be notified the next time a video goes live. I hope you guys have a mathy day. Bye.